Fox Sports.
We are the Force. We are the West.
Fans heading in here on a beautiful Monday night in the desert. The Colorado Rockies in town to face the Rangers. A spring training friendly today from Surprise Stadium. Hello again, folks. Welcome in. Great to be with you once again tonight. I am Dave Raymond alongside my roommate, CJ Nikowski. Fun one today for these two teams, for the Rangers. A lot of the young players in the lineup, and it's a key for this team, of course, going forward. All the young guys 25 and under.
Yeah, it really is amazing, and that is what is talked about a lot in Major League Baseball right now. Young players getting the most value out of them while they hit their prime years, and these are three guys in that Texas Rangers lineup that are really starting to come into their own. Rougned Odor, Nomar Mazara, and then Joey Gallo with a huge season last year, the 41 home runs, and these guys understand that they are the next leadership group here for the Rangers. And Gallo a year ago really came into his own. We weren't sure if he was going to break camp with the team. Well, not only did he break camp, but he had a huge season. You see it there, home run number 40, fourth youngest since 2000 to do it. This was number 41, and we know when Joey Gallo hits home runs, he hits them a long way, and the reality is he is only going to get better with age.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, this year, he's a lock in that lineup. He'll be at first base, at least to start the season, and he's going to be batting second in the order, which will be an interesting thing for us to keep an eye on as well. One guy we don't want to fall asleep on is Delano DeShields. He's leading things off. He's another of the young core, 25 years old, and he is the igniter at the top of this order. Rockies and Rangers from Surprise Stadium, and we're pleased to welcome in the third member of our crew. Let's send it down to Emily Jones.
Thank you very much, Dave. Well, part of the spring training experience is building relationships, not just at the major league level, but throughout the entire organization. And with that in mind, Adrian Beltre last night took 35 minor leaguers, about 35 minor leaguers out to dinner. He made it their choice wherever they wanted to go to eat, a chance for them to visit with him, pick his brain, and just take him out to dinner, have a night out on the town courtesy of him. And we're going to play a game throughout the broadcast, guys, where you guess where the minor leaguers chose to go on this excursion. And I'm going to give you 10 guesses and see if you can come up with the answer.
Well, you
Deal?
read my mind right there, Emily, because that was my first. Where did they choose to go?
Well, I mean, think about the pressure, right? Adrian Beltre offers to take you out to dinner, but you're like, well, I know he's made a lot of money, but I don't want to overdo it,
No, you want to overdo it.
You think so?
Absolutely.
It takes some courage for a young minor leaguer to say, hey, is there a Mastros around here anywhere?
Well, meanwhile, Beltre with the start at third base today. And Adrian Sampson gets the start a little bit unexpected, and he comes a little bit high. That'll leave the count of 1-1 on Mike Tachman.
Well, here's Sampson from a year ago. Just eight starts for him. You see the ERA there. Did a nice job with the 21 strikeouts to just 3 walks, so not afraid to fill up the zone. Interesting guy that the Rangers picked up off waivers prior to the 2017 season. Missed some time as he was recovering from injury, but certainly some encouraging numbers as far as how his minor league season went. He does have a little bit of big league time back in 2016. He had 1 start with the Seattle Mariners.
Pop up, third base side, and Centeno out from behind home plate will take care of it. 1 away. So Tachman retired to start things today. Looking at the rest of the Rockies lineup, Bud Black put Pat Valaika batting second. Gerardo Parra, David Dahl, Ryan McMahon in the heart of the order. Brendan Rodgers at second base. Tony Walters catching and batting seventh. Castro at third base, and then the pitcher John Gray in the lineup batting ninth. So I guess we're at that point of spring training for the National League teams where they want to see their pitchers take some hacks as well. And speaking of hacks, that one hacked foul.
It is pretty interesting, but it does make sense, obviously, for the National League team to let John Gray maybe get 1 or 2 plate appearances, and then after that, I'm sure we'll see a pretty steady diet of pinch hitters once the starter is removed from the game.
Valaika hitless so far this spring, 0 for 8 with 3 strikeouts, so hasn't been a real productive spring for him. Sampson's 1 strike offering, and that looked pretty good, but apparently a little bit in. 93 miles per hour with that fastball, though. Sampson 0-1, a 4.15 earned run average. It's his 6th appearance this spring, though most of them, well, all of them have been in relief. It's his first start. He goes 2-1 on Valaika. You mentioned a waiver claim from Seattle. He had that 1 start a couple years ago, and then warming up for his next start in Detroit, came up lame in the bullpen and missed the start. Found out he was hurt.
Torn flexor tendon. Well, unusual though. You don't see that too often, where you're actually warming up to go into a game, and that's when the player gets hurt.
2-2. Chopper at third base. Beltre tried to keep it fair, but couldn't. And we will redo it.
It's almost like they're trying to ground out the third, right? I mean, there's been now 3 ground balls hit to the left side that he's topped pretty badly, but unable to keep any of those fair. See the high hop there. Pretty close, but a good call. Adrian Beltre continues to get it done. It really has been amazing for us to watch him defensively. And as he grows old by baseball standards, he's still an excellent defender. I got to think throughout this spring, Adrian probably tired of everybody talking about how old he is. I feel like
Yeah, I'm sure he probably is, but that's a conversation that will follow him the rest of his career. 2-2.
And we can't take all the blame. I mean, even his own teammates, right? We had Joey Gallo on the other day doing an in-game interview with Emily and kind of talking about the quote-unquote old guys moving on. And when you're one of those old guys and still have the uniform on, you don't love it. You joke around with your teammates a little bit, but you're right. It is the reality. And as we talked about in our open, a really good, exciting young nucleus here in Texas.
Valaika putting up a pretty good fight here for Sampson. Pat Valleca, you might remember the name Chris Valleca. Infielder with the Reds, Marlins, and Cubs. This one spoiled again. Pat played at UCLA. And was a 9th round pick by the Rockies in 2013. Had a cup of coffee a couple years later, September of 2016. Sampson, after the long look in, it was Valleca who asked for time. There's another hard ground ball. This one by third base. So after all of that, Valleca will head to second with a 1-out double.
Well, that's an impressive at-bat, fouling off a lot of tough pitches and extending the at-bat, and then he gets a pitch in the middle, trying to go down and away. That ball finished up and even a little bit in, and we saw him pulling those ground balls, but he was getting on top of all those. Well, that one he squared up pretty well as it goes all the way to the wall.
So man in scoring position as we get to the heart of the order. Gerardo Parra, left-handed hitter, steps in. Parra will be the left fielder in Denver this summer. And he has always been kind of an interesting guy to watch just because he is so good defensively. Had some real good years with Arizona, yet could never really get an everyday job with Arizona. In fact, really, it's been difficult for him over the years to get that everyday job with anybody just about. But now with the Rockies, seems to have found a good fit. You see the numbers last year for him at 115 games, really solid overall. And again, what you have to take into account there too is he plays outstanding defense as well.
Tremendous arm, and the Rockies certainly appreciated what he had done over the years and locked him up a 3-year contract with a team option. So he is signed through this year, an option for next year. 30 years old. You're right, and I think it's certainly something we have seen. Not that defense was never appreciated, but I think appreciated even more as we get into the advanced metric age and we use stats like WAR, wins above replacement, and defense really can influence that number pretty significantly. And so guys like Parra become a little bit more appreciated over time, certainly in this era.
Finds the lower portion of the zone right there for a strike. Sampson ahead 1-2. Parra this spring hitting 300. Home run, 3 RBIs for him. I'm sure he came to camp ready to go. Most of these more veteran players do. And he swings and misses. Just the second time he's struck out this spring, and they're 2 away here in the first inning.
Sampson does a nice job here of getting this fastball up, even though maybe it wasn't intended. You see the target more down and in, but that high fastball, we talk about it so often in today's game, looks really good coming in, but so many hitters have a hard time laying off of it or even getting to it. There's the elevated fastball, even though it might have been unintentional. That did par in.
So 2 gone, and now David Dahl. Dahl has had an unusual spring with the Rockies, and boy, he belts this one out toward right field. That one carrying back toward the fence, but tracked down out there for the final out of the inning. Good read by Mazzara off the bat. Rockies leave a man, and the Rangers coming to bat.
starter. That is not going to happen.
Cole Hamels has been named the opening day starter for the Rangers. Not a real shock in terms of news coming out of this camp, but you look at the numbers for Cole Hamels over the years. Strikeouts per 9 maybe down a little bit in his 3 years with the Rangers. 33 wins, 12 losses, been very good. And through today on the backfield against Cincinnati Reds minor leaguers. A lot of work in.
Yeah, I think anytime you see one of your guys, your go-to guy, certainly your opening day starter, throwing in the minor leagues, gives him an opportunity to maybe mess around a little bit if there's something he wants to do. A lot of times for guys, you know, Cole Hamels' story has been establishing that four-seam fastball a little bit more this year, so you may throw more in that kind of game than you would in a big league game. It also gives other guys opportunities to get those innings in what we call the A game, which is happening here tonight. So he took his start this afternoon, a little tune-up as he gets ready for opening day.
Delano DeShields will start things off here.
Good play there by John Gray. A little toss to retire Delano DeShields on the chopper back to starting pitcher with the excellent flow. Take a look at John Gray and his numbers from last season. Made 20 starts. You see it there, the 10-4 record. Good strikeout to walk ratio. And probably even more impressive, just 10 home runs allowed in 110 innings. Certainly not something that is easy to do when you are pitching half your games in Colorado. Heard an interesting John Gray story today. You know, a guy told me, hey, keep an eye on the curveball usage. In his first ever big league game, first curveball he ever threw, home run by Corey Seager of the LA Dodgers. And after that, kind of shied away from it a little bit. A little bit of a rude awakening with that pitch to start his career.
Well, he's only needed 5 pitches so far here to pick up 2 outs. And now we'll look at Elvis Andrus. Elvis, a huge year last year, of course. Been much discussed both the spring, of course, all of last year. He was one of the main storylines from start to finish last year. He's got hits in 5 straight down here in Arizona. In fact, hitting .524 this spring. We saw him this offseason, and you can just tell talking with him, he is more determined than ever to improve upon what he did last year, which is really a pretty crazy challenge for anybody.
It is, and then the question becomes, well, what do you look at as an improvement, right? When he hits 20 home runs after hitting 17 combined the previous 3 seasons, is it really fair to expect him to even hit those 20 again? You know, and not that it's not possible, it certainly is, but I think what's interesting to me is what he might see as an improvement. 191 hits were a career high. The 297 batting average. You could say maybe the on base, which was right around his career average, we didn't see necessarily a spike there from him, but we will see what he can bring to the table and what will improve, if anything. Listen, he repeats his year, everybody's really happy. So the idea of getting even better is certainly a great goal. You want all your players to have that.
He told me in January that his goal this year is to steal 40 or more bases again. As Adrian Beltre stands in and takes a strike. And that's a particularly interesting goal to set. You know, as you begin to advance in age a little bit, those get harder and harder to come by, but he wants to prove that he is still an elite base stealer in the American League.
Well, he's been good. He's averaged 31 stolen bases a year. It's been his 162 game average for him. You see the overall numbers from a year ago, all career highs with the hits, the home runs. The OPS, it was a terrific year for Elvis Andrus. And of course, the Rangers not afraid to run. Right? Fourth in all of baseball last year in stolen bases. 40 is a lofty goal. He had 42 back in 2013. That was his career best.
Gray keeping an eye on him. 1-1. Big swing and a miss by Beltre. Well, Elvis holds pretty much every stolen base mark that the Rangers have as a franchise. And last year, when you combine it with the power, the 20 home runs and more than 20 stolen bases, he joins Toby Harrah as the only other Ranger shortstop to accomplish that feat. Beltre goes down looking in his first at bat of the night. So quiet bottom of the first, no scores. We head to the second inning. We go to the second inning. You get more baseball for your buck this year with full or half-season ticket plans. Lock in the best prices at the best seating locations and enjoy all those exclusive perks that come along with it. Season ticket holders for 2018 may select their seats this summer for the new Globe Life Field opening in 2020. Just go to TexasRangers.com/seasons today. Here we go in inning number 2. And Adrian Sampson fires one right in there for a strike to Ryan McMahon.
Left-handed hitting McMahon had a huge year last year in the minor leagues. Got a little bit of a taste of the big leagues this year. It'll be interesting to see how Bud Black ultimately decides to use him. You know, Ian Desmond, of course, who can play first base, but left-handed hitting McMahon could be a possibility where they try to maybe use a platoon situation. We'll see. Of course, McMahon, kind of the young kid trying to make his way through the system. 23 years old. It was a pretty incredible season he had, and I know Albuquerque, I've told you this before, is the greatest place on earth to hit, bar none. He had 374 last year, 411 on base, 14 home runs. Also had some time in AA where he put up some huge numbers.
He rolls out to second base to get things started in the second inning here tonight. Good job by Sampson to induce the ground ball out. And it brings up Brendan Rodgers. Sampson again wasn't scheduled to get the start here tonight, but Tony Barnett was scheduled. Was a little sore this afternoon. Came up with a little lower back soreness, so did not make the start tonight. And we'll get a little update on that. We'll go, not messing around. We were a little curious about that, so we sent out our best people and brought in the best people as a chopper over third. Falls into left field. Brendan Rodgers aboard here in the second inning. That's right, not messing around. We bring in John Daniels,
Where are you going?
president of the club. And listen, what's the story? Get us updated on Tony first.
The meeting go too long, and the Players Association meeting.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, he literally came in and couldn't move.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, he was all right, but I don't think it's a long-term thing. It's one of those deals where your back's locked up and literally kind of waddling around.
Spring training bed, maybe.
Yeah,
Always a
exactly.
worry.
I think that might have been the case. So one look at him when he came in today, it was pretty clear we need another starter.
Now, was he even excited about starting? Obviously, it's just a spring training deal, not necessarily something that's on the table. Did he say anything about? Maybe
I didn't talk to him directly, but Broke did, Doug Brokale, and got the sense that, yeah, it was something he was kind of, I don't think he's done it really since he was in AA in the Diamondback system before he went to Japan. So I think it was kind of a little bit of a interesting thing. Obviously, he's from out here, his family's here, so it's kind of probably something he was looking forward to.
So why do we do that sometimes, right? Why do sometimes you let guys who are bullpen guys start games? Why not always start them with starters?
Good question. Some of it, I think, just has to do with lining up the guys at this late in the schedule, trying to line them up for the first week of the season. So just kind of skipping a starter, or pushing a guy forward, or pushing a guy back to get them lined up for the regular rest. And we have a number of split squads and or double headers, however you want to look at them, this week. So trying to play some games to get everybody lined up right.
Tricky too, right? Because sometimes you think about how you're going to play your relievers in the regular season. Well, if you play them that way in a spring training game, they're pitching all the time against AA kids, whatever. The guys who.
It's true, yeah. So we do talk about that too. You want to try to get these guys in earlier in games to get a better look at them against big league level hitters.
Plus, you get to go to dinner on time. You can have a nice
Well, right.
reservation. I mean, that's always part of it as well. We were talking earlier about Cole Hamels and him having the earlier start during the day. Was that specific to let him work on anything that he didn't have to worry about performing in a game, or what was the ultimate reason to have him throw earlier today?
That's what it was. I think Cole had a few things he wanted to work. You're really working on fastball command and just continuing to build his arm strength here late. So he threw probably 75–80% four-seam fastballs just to kind of get going, and he chose. It was his call. And he wanted to do that in the earlier game.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing that he had said earlier in spring training, talking about wanting to establish that four-seam fastball a little bit more. People were asking him, well, what happened with maybe the strikeout rate going down a little bit? He had said, well, he'd been using that two-seam fastball more, pitching to contact more, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, I don't think. I mean, it certainly helps preserve pitches, but do you think we'll see more four-seam usage from him? He felt like the other pitchers worked better off with his four-seam.
I think so. I mean, again, there are some starters that we'll kind of lay things out for, hey, this is what we're seeing. We certainly did that with Cole. But when you get a guy of Cole's stature, I think he kind of has a pretty good idea what he wants to do. And so he's, from day one, I mean, that's been a focus of his. And it's been a focus of the whole camp, the kind of fastball command and getting ahead. And I don't want to make much of spring training statistics, but I did, a little pat on the back for Broke and for Dan Worthen and for our pitching coaches throughout the system. I mean, we've thrown a ton of strikes here this spring. We're not walking guys. I think the catchers are setting up and communicating and helping the pitchers in different ways. So I think Cole, from looking at it with his four-seamer and fastball command as a priority for him, really set the tone for the staff.
Is TrackMan data a part of spring training? Do teams use that? Will they still try to get those numbers in as far as spin rate and that kind of stuff? Does that get focused on?
We do. I mean, we will use it occasionally, but more if there's, coach sees something that's a concern or a specific pitcher that we're trying to get you back to where you were in 17 or 16, especially for guys coming off injuries, to kind of show them some data to hey, you're maybe closer than you think you are. Try to do some positive reinforcement.
All right, so there's some stories that we should touch on too. As Odor with a nice charge and flip to take care of Daniel Castro. More news today, right? Tommy Joseph, you guys pick him up today from Atlanta, and what are you doing with him?
So Tommy's a guy. Years ago we liked as a catcher back when he was with the Giants. Had some concussion issues. Really not catching anymore, but right-handed power. I think that the bat, more than just a one-dimensional power hitter. I think the bat, the hitter piece has made progress over the last handful of year or so. So he's got an option. So we just felt like it was an opportunity to pick up some quality depth on the right side where we don't have a lot. Obviously, we're very left-handed.
All right, stay with us, John, if you would. Maybe just for a little bit more. We're going to take a quick break. A couple minutes left, and we go to the bottom of the second inning. Nomar Mazara leading things off here. Beautiful night tonight here in Surprise, Arizona. John Daniels joining us in the booth here tonight. Overall, JD, this camp seems like it's been very positive. Knock on wood, I almost don't want to say it, but pretty healthy.
Yeah, both are accurate statements. We were talking today about how just the vibe in camp been outstanding. You know, I complimenting Banny, the staff, Adrian, Chu, the young guys. When you walk around today, and there's a really like light, good camaraderie vibe in the air. Certainly helps, to your point, when your best players are playing the game, right? And we've had some injuries. I don't want to minimize those, but knock on wood, to date they have been more for guys kind of competing for spots rather than for the key guys.
And it seems like this young group of guys is really starting to take to not each other also, because they've been playing together for a while, but the idea now that they've done something at the big league level that they are next, and they seem excited about doing it as a group.
Yeah, I think so. And again, it's showing Adrian and Robbie on the screen here. Like, I know those guys and others, but Adrian and Chirinos and a few, they get pulled in some of the young guys early and say, hey, like, this is, you're not the young guys anymore. This is your team. We're going to go as far as you guys go. And I mean, there is a really good camaraderie. And just I don't know if he wants me to tell a story or not, but Adrian, you think of him as tonight and focused, and you hear his comments about free agents, and which is I totally appreciate and understand. Two things. One, he asked us early in camp, says, hey, who's our first round pick last year? Bubba Thompson, can we bring him over? I want him to work out with us. And then say, hey, do we ever bring over one of the young guys every day? So we brought over Leody Taveras, we brought over Pedro Gonzalez, and Adrian wanted them in his group every day, And then he takes out all of the Dominican players in minor league camp. Takes them all out to dinner last night. They had their choice anywhere they wanted to go in the valley, and they
don't tell. We got a little something going on here. So Emily has reported this, and she's allowing us to have the rest of the game to figure out where it was. Because I was having a discussion and saying, like, if you're that young guy and you have the opportunity, and Adrian say, hey, wherever you want. Well, you're not thinking, well, is there a Mastros around here? So, like, I don't think you're going to throw that out there. Maybe somewhere in between. So we're gonna, Dave and I have to. We had 10 guesses. The rest of this game.
Got it. Well, I almost messed that up.
So sorry to interrupt you, but that was.
And not that it's a country by country thing, but the Venezuelan guys, Robbie and Rugi and Elvis took out all the young Venezuelan guys. It's just this is a good group of guys, man. Yeah. They care about each other, and they care about the next wave coming.
So that means you got to get all the Nebraska guys.
I got them up. Yeah, I got them. Diekman and I are going out tomorrow.
Nice.
We're gonna have cabbage burgers. I was talking to Tim Lincecum today, and I want to ask you about his situation, where you see him fitting in, how long you think it's going to take to get him to that major league level. He and I exchanged our opinions on that, and it sounds like there's a little bit of time left.
Going to throw live BP again tomorrow. I think he was understandably further ahead a few weeks ago than he was when he got to camp, just with the tragedy with his brother and obviously needing some time that we're certainly supportive of. But he'd thrown a bunch of pens, and he realized he was throwing pens on kind of the indoor rubber mound. And the first time he threw to hitters a week or so ago he said, hey, that was the first time I threw to hitters off the dirt mound. You kind of didn't put all that together, but. I don't know if it'll be late April, beginning of May. I think that's probably a more realistic timeline right now.
Now Chu with another base hit. He's looked very good this spring. Back to Lincecum. And to the point you were making just a moment ago about the feel in this camp. I was asking him, I said, well, how is it that you decided on the Rangers? You had everybody was there watching your workout. You had interest in offers from a lot of other teams. And I don't know if he's discussed this with you. Very flattering, but he said, well, JD and I had a real interesting talk. He said, it's like I left the talk. He's like, I don't know how else to say it other than I had like a warm fuzzy.
I'm described that way a lot.
Yeah. It was like, I had this warm fuzzy. And he said, it was just different. It just seemed different than the other guys. And I felt like there was something with this organization. And I told my agent I wanted to come here.
I like it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you give a lot of credit to Banny and the guys, but you got to take a little bit of that yourself.
I got to get like a T-shirt or something.
Warm fuzzy.
Bumper stickers. At least.
I'm going to do that.
But it is important. We've seen it now with the managerial hirings this past offseason, and we kept hearing from these teams with Aaron Boone and Alex Cora was about the clubhouse and the relationship, and that really seems to have changed even from when I got to believe when you were first an executive and first started doing this compared to now, and obviously that's always been your personality, but even from the managerial standpoint, it seems more important than ever.
Yeah, I mean, you really want to find that balance, right? The guys that know the game, know players, know, I mean, that whether they've played a long time or managed their way up, or one way or another, they have to have some skins on the wall on the field. I mean, but then also understanding kind of the way the game is going and how, you know, players are different, people are different, the expectations are, the way we communicate is different, and to have a manager that can do both, that can deliver tough messages without losing the player, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, and it seems like that balance has changed a little bit now. There's no more yelling at players anymore, but there is still accountability, which Joe Madden talks about all the time. As much as everyone thinks he runs like a romper room, he says accountability is what keeps that together and keeps it working.
Yeah, well, there's got to be discipline. Yeah. There's got to be structure and consequences and expectations. I mean, we all want that as individuals. I mean, whether you're 18 or 40, you want that, right? I mean, you need that to perform and to know what's expected of you. But I do think, the times of guys getting chewed out in front of their teammates, in front of fans, you can lose guys a little quicker that way now, maybe than in the past.
Can I ask you about Jurickson Profar?
Sure.
Jeff Bannister has talked about him a lot this spring, and he lights up in a way that's just a little bit different than A, in years past, and B, other players he talks about. He's been excited about a couple of guys, but Profar seems to be one who's really stood out.
I think the quality of his bats been really good. Particularly from the right side, where he struggled some. But the biggest thing for me with Jurickson, I think it's a combination of factors, is he is in a really good spot mentally. Really positive. I think he's playing free. Now, he's that option, so he knows he's not going to the minor leagues. He and his girlfriend had their first child, so there's that life event piece that kind of goes for you. And he's healthy, and he's feeling good about himself. And I think he understands his role in the club. He understands his role with these other players. He's part of the team now instead of one of the guys kind of trying to get up there. So he's been able to play free. He's not worried about exactly where he's playing or when. He knows he's going to be an important piece of the club.
Well, so far so good. Now today, Rangers trailing by a run, but JD, we'll put that one on you. It happened once again in your inning.
I'm just glad it didn't ruin your game.
No, we're still good. We're still good. Thank you so much for stopping by.
You got it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me. Yeah.
Thanks, JD.
Thank you.
John Daniels, our guest. We'll go to the third inning when we come back.
The mustard is the way.
Yes. Hey, Rangers destination packages offer you the chance to hit the road with the Texas Rangers. It includes first-class hotel accommodations, a meet and greet with a Rangers player, a VIP ballpark tour, and a whole lot more. Come on to Seattle, May 29th to 31st, and catch the Rangers and Mariners at Safeco Field as a bloop into right field. That's how we begin the third inning. If you want to get involved with one of those Rangers destinations, and they are really cool packages, check it out at texasrangers.com/destinations. Tachman aboard to start the third inning for the Rockies. They lead 1-0. But didn't get enough time with John Daniels. A lot more we could have discussed.
He dodged us with a couple of quick innings.
Yep, he's good at that. He's cagey. Here's Valleca. Another double back of the first inning. A very lengthy at bat against Adrian Sampson, who works in his third inning. It was Valleca's first hit this spring. Keep an eye on Tachman. Has 3 steals this spring. Anything from the conversation with JD jump out at you?
Well, I mean, I always like that conversation about where we're headed, just in general, like big picture with the game as far as from a managerial standpoint and the different needs. I think that's really fascinating, the personal relationships, because what matters is, it's one thing when you're a fan and you're looking at, who's the team bringing in and what are they doing and who are our players. But then it becomes, okay, that's one thing. What can you get out of them? And how do you get the most out of them? That's as important, if not more important. It's, you have only so much flexibility as far as what you can do with your roster. And so I think that conversation is a pretty interesting one, and one that's been prominent over the last couple of years. And he certainly seems thrilled with the job that Jeff Bannister and the rest of the coaches and the leadership crew in that clubhouse have done. And then, of course, talking about the vibe, that matters. It does matter. Guys feeling good, and that conversation from Adrian, from Robinson, and encouraging the guys. I think that's a really, really important point, to let those guys know that, hey, it is time to take ownership of this team to some degree. When you have a guy that is at the level of Adrian Beltre telling you that, it's really exciting. I mean, you have to do something first in the big leagues, I think, before that conversation even takes place. And those guys certainly have.
Valleca having a big night tonight. Shoots that one into left field for a base hit. His second hit of the evening. And the first 2 men on here in the third inning.
Take a look here. We saw him pull the double down the left field line, and now maybe a little cutter down over the plate. Not a bad pitch down in the zone. Good at bats. But I think that's a cool storyline for this year. Like a legitimate one that could really pay dividends over the long term. Is this young crew starting to feel good about themselves, starting to understand their value, what they mean to this organization going forward, and seemingly excited about it, right? That's the big one. You can't just say, hey, you're a leader now. It doesn't work that way. You got to have guys that believe in themselves, believe in their ability to do that. And what we've heard from Nomar, what we've heard from Joey Gallo, Ruben Odor, they have those qualities, and they're looking forward to it.
Well, when you get the endorsement of the big guy at third base, too, that makes all the difference in the world. It's one thing when you're one of the 1 or 2 young guys on a veteran-laden team. But this has really turned into a situation where Beltre is the veteran on a young team. And the fact that he's handling it the way he is really critical.
And it's funny how Elvis kind of gets left out of that conversation a little bit. And age is a number. And while it does hold some value, I mean, Elvis plays the game like he's 22 years old. And he still moves like he's 22 years old. And he talks about wanting to steal 40 bases and do things that you would only expect young players to be able to do. And so while the number may not match up in the same way as these other guys at 22 and 24 years old, the player does.
High fly ball out there to left field. That one carrying well. Rua all the way back to the screen to make the catch. Parra just about left the yard, and Rua corkscrewed his way back there ultimately to find that one in time for the first out of the inning. That's not an easy play down here at any time of night, but certainly not here at twilight.
Nope, that's what gets tough. It's really hard to see the ball, and he was tracking it but then losing it and picking it back up. And my guess would be that he lost it for a second, kind of lost the trajectory of the ball, and then was able to find it once again. And that's an excellent job. That's athleticism. And you look at that and you say, oh, it didn't look really pretty, and the route efficiency might not have been that high. Certainly nobody cares because he caught the ball and it was a tough play. And those are the kind of things that sometimes will get lost in the numbers, especially when we try to put defensive metrics, which are really, for me, not very reliable. And that is a really tough play this time of night.
So now David Dahl takes a strike. You see Dahl's spring training numbers right there. Not going to wow you. He started 0 for 15 with 9 strikeouts, but since then 11 for 38 with 5 home runs and 14 RBIs.
A guy that only played 20 games or 19 games last year in the minor leagues. He had a really encouraging first season in 2016. Played in 63 games, hit .315. Looked like maybe he was ready to take on an everyday spot, and then got hurt and missed most of last year. And so now it's kind of bounce back time here for David Dahl.
Pops this one up. Third base side. Beltre lost it for a moment. I'm not sure Andrews ever saw it. It almost got him.
Same situation right there for Adrian Beltre. Looked up, looked down, and then couldn't find the ball because of the time of day right now, or time of night, and the color of sky. And it's really tough at dusk. And this is not uncommon, and I'm not sure if Elvis saw it. You see him looking there, but he's looking at Adrian and looking at him again and realizing that's probably his ball. It's much easier play for the shortstop cutting across like that, but it's a tough play regardless this time of night. And things are completely different too when you're in a minor league stadium compared to that big league stadium. No third deck, seats don't go all the way around. Usually a slightly higher quality of light at the big league level.
So new life for Dahl at 0-2, and he'll shoot this one into the seats. We'll try it one more time. 1-0 Rockies lead in the third inning. Rockies were a playoff team last year. And high expectations once again in 2018 for this organization. 0-2. Oh, that's some good zip on it. 93 miles per hour, but underneath the arms of Dahl. 1-2 the count. Out to left field. Rule won't get to that one. Rolls to the fence. Tachman is in. Valleca waved as well, and that is a 2-run double for David Dahl. He was racking up some impressive production numbers. Now 16 RBIs this spring for Dahl.
This ball was well hit. This is a really good at bat after being down in the count 0-2. Sampson trying to go in, left that ball over the middle of the plate, but Dahl didn't try to do too much, right? Look at that ball over the middle, kept the hands in, drove it very nicely the other way into the gap. An encouraging sign for him. When you think about his first at bat, he hit that really hard ball, that line drive to right field that Nomar Mazara made a nice play on. So for a couple of the hitters in this Rockies lineup, some quality at bats and some hard contact.
Still only one out. McMahon takes one inside for a ball. You ready to hazard a guess yet on that restaurant last night?
Considering I don't even know if I can name 10 restaurants in the area, since I haven't visited very many. I mean, Emily wouldn't just, it wouldn't just be something completely obscure. I gotta believe there's some kind of hints. Being that it was 35 guys from the Dominican, I would venture to guess that maybe, possibly, Latin cuisine. Is that big here in Surprise, Arizona?
Well, I mean, there's
got to be some good spots, right?
There's some really good restaurants here in the area.
So we get 20 total guesses, or just 10 from the booth?
Oh, maybe 10 from the booth total. All right, so along those lines, then I'm going to say Ajo Owls. Ajo Owls. How about that? I don't know if
Emily.
Emily's.
All right, I'm ready to venture a guess.
Okay.
Las Fuentes.
Never heard of it. This one hit deep out into left field. Rua back again, and he can't get to this one. Not enough room for him. Man with a 2-run home run, and so all of a sudden the Rockies have exploded in this third inning and lead 5-0.
I mentioned the year that McMahon had at the minor league level last year, and it was a good one. And this absolutely could be a guy that takes away some of that playing time at first base, or even gets himself some regular playing time. Not a terrible pitch on the outside corner. Looked like a changeup. Look at that swing, and tells you all you need to know about the Arizona air. That probably should have been a routine fly ball, although in Colorado it might have done a lot of the same. Get it up in the air and let it carry. It was a little bit fooled on that pitch. But you see it, you know, if you can get the barrel to it, even if you're off balance, get the barrel to the ball, you got a chance to get it to carry. Remember that home run that Todd Frazier hit in the postseason last year? He was so far out front. His butt was in the third base dugout, and the ball was away. But he got barrel on it. I mean, it was as ugly as a swing as you're ever going to see as far as being fooled. But he got the barrel to the ball and got enough of it to get it to carry out. It can happen. It doesn't have to be always a pretty swing.
That's part of what fueled the speculation about what's going on with the Major League Baseball. And it wasn't just Frazier in the postseason. I mean, everybody was bombs all over the place.
Pitchers were reputable pitchers, guys. You know, I think opinions we could trust had a lot to say about it as well.
Hard ground ball third, and Beltre fires it across the diamond to get Rogers. Talking about the Rockies last year, 87 wins, their first playoff appearance in nearly a decade. But right here in Arizona, right, lost to the Diamondbacks in the wild card game, and it was a short postseason. Well, I'll tell you what, all that work to get in the postseason. He had the one game, and Bud Black and his boys, it was a pretty short stay.
A good year, an encouraging year for Bud Black. Getting another opportunity to manage. We thought he was actually going to manage the Nationals a couple of years ago. That whole deal kind of fell through. Steve Baker took over, and Bud Black, who was so well respected in the industry, does a nice job with the Colorado Rockies here early on.
Rockies this year will open the season here in Arizona. They won't even have to go home. They'll just stay right here and open against the Diamondbacks. It's a ground ball, shortstop. Nice backhand pick by Andrus, and that will end the inning. But 4-run score for the Rockies. So after 2.5 so far here tonight, it's the Rockies 5 and the Rangers nothing.
Five to nothing here in Surprise as we welcome you back on a beautiful night for baseball here in the Valley. And we talked about Jurickson Profar throughout the spring and just the different spring that he's had. And in talking to him about what's changed in his game, he said, just like John Daniels alluded to earlier with the guys, it's not anything in particular with what he's done physically. It's all been about the mental aspect of what he's doing differently and the fact that he's not putting too much pressure on himself. And he admitted that he had put too much pressure on himself in years past because of that top prospect in baseball label, all those things that he had to feel like he had to live up to. He realized that he didn't have to anymore, and he needed to be comfortable in what he brought to the table as a player. And he said that he had some serious conversations with himself and others this offseason about just relaxing and letting the game come to him and just being comfortable with who he is. And you've seen it here in spring. And guys, you talked about, you know, Jeff Bannister and him lighting up when he sees, or when he talks about Jurickson Profar, and you can see kind of a sense of relief with Jurickson, even in just being able to talk about the fact that he has kind of let go of those expectations and he's comfortable in his own skin and comfortable in his own game. And he said it's been a very freeing process for him over the course of the spring.
Makes sense. And you think about that, he was a consensus #1 top prospect in all of baseball by all the major publications. It wasn't like kind of is he 1 or 2 or 3. It was across the board going into the 2013 season. Of course, those injuries kind of slowed things down, and that's the difference in the game as well, is how much attention gets paid to prospects. I couldn't tell you who the top prospect in baseball was when I was in the minor leagues. I don't know. I have no idea. Like, just wasn't. I mean, the publications were out there, but they didn't get nearly the attention they do now, and so that brings a whole extra set of pressure from a new source before you've even gotten to the big leagues, and it's certainly something that can be difficult to deal with. And as John Daniels said, and it makes perfect sense to me, there is something to be said for knowing you're out of options when you know you're a pretty good player. But maybe it is. It's just a reality. You know, even you know that you're good enough to stick. You know that a team doesn't want to expose you to waivers, and it helps take the pressure off a little bit. There's no doubt when you're fighting for a roster spot and fighting for a job, there's some pressure there in spring training, and it's sometimes can be difficult to get freed up.
Well, I got some good words of advice as well from Joey Gallo, and he has definitely been loose and having a good spring so far. That's great news.
I got another guess, Emily. Is Emily still there? I was realizing that maybe we're going down the wrong path.
Okay.
That seemed too simple.
You're
So
0 for, I just want to take your 0 for 2
I know.
so far.
We
Big
got the news from the truck, but I got good news for everybody. I think I figured it out.
Oh, good.
Chuck E. Cheese. If you're going to take 35 minor leaguers anywhere, tell me that's not a great spot, and you're going to save yourself some cash. But the team bonding that goes on in that situation.
AB left it open for him anywhere they wanted to go.
I think it's being the fact that Johnny wanted to bring up that John Daniels was going to say the name of the place tells me that it's something that kind of interesting and maybe off the beaten path.
All right. There's a nice steakhouse not far from here. Steak and seafood. It's called Arrowhead Grill, I think. What about it, Emily? Is that? No?
The pressure is.
So that's 4 guesses.
That's 4.
6 more to go.
Let me ask you this, Emily. Is it a restaurant you could go to in Texas?
It is.
Oh, is this 20 questions we're doing now?
I thought,
It's the only hint I'm giving you guys.
Okay. All right.
Can you go to it in New York?
1-0 to Gallo. He slashes that one foul. Interesting. I think it's
so it's got to be a chain.
exactly. I think it could be like a. Well, go ahead. I see a little inspiration in those eyes.
Here's the thing: is because people are bringing it up, are they trying to make fun?
Make fun of what?
In-N-Out Burger.
What? Does that count as a guess?
Yeah, I've guessed 3, so I have 2 guesses.
Terrible. In-N-Out. You take 35 guys to In-N-Out Burger to have a big dinner.
What it does is it breaks down the barriers a little bit. Like, here's a superstar, but I also like cheeseburgers and French fries.
You're a menace. You
Right?
cannot take part in this game. 2-2 on Gallo. He might leave it up to their discretion, but at some point he would step in and say, well, we're not going to In-N-Out Burger.
Probably not recommended from a health standpoint for guys in the middle of spring training, but everyone's allowed to have a cheat day.
Gallo down looking. Great. A handful of strikeouts in the 3rd. Nothing. Rockies on top. Host your next group or company outing at a Rangers game. Groups of 20 or more enjoy significant savings off gate prices. Add-on picnic areas, meal deals, or other experience to make your group outing even more memorable. Go to texasrangers.com/groups to plan your group outing today. I mean, you don't have to take the group to Chuck E. Cheese or In-N-Out Burger. You could bring them to the ballpark.
That's right.
Your guesses so far, by the way, have been uninspiring.
Sorry, Fancy Dave.
I'm just saying, you got to try taking them
My
to
first
Chuck
one
E.
was a good
Cheese.
guess, I thought.
That was a good guess. Daniel Castro will lead things off here in the 4th inning.
With a boomstick.
that has merit.
They do have a pretty large hot dog here. I had one the first game we had. It's got to be 15 inches or so. It's pretty large. No guilt.
I was going to say, you didn't, it's not like you went halfway on that one either. It's Castro. It's a sharply foul. Castro 0 for 1. Splintered the bat there, so he's going to go get a new one. So Adrian Beltre takes 35 guys to dinner last night. And the question is, these young players got to choose. Where did they go?
I'll tell you this, I'm sure they had an outstanding time. It's some of your best memories as a player, those times, right? When you get to hang out with your teammates. In this case, obviously, you get to hang out with a legend. You want to reach out to some guys in minor league camp. I'm sure the conversations were fantastic and really eye-opening for a lot of guys. It's a great opportunity, not easy to come by.
Bouncer second base to take care of Castro. Reed Garrett, our new pitcher, retires the first hitter he faces.
What is a cabbage sandwich or a cabbage burger?
Cabbage burger. It's ground beef. It's cabbage. And
Together?
it's a lot of pepper. And it's delicious.
Is the cabbage worked into the ground beef or,
Yeah.
just laid on top
No,
of it?
no, yeah, worked in there. You simmer it for like an hour. Yeah, you put a lot of pepper. I mean, an absurd amount of pepper in there. You might throw some onions in, but probably the core is basically just the cabbage and the beef, and then you put it in a nice bun. It is delicious.
You're really selling that thing. Sounds not so delicious.
John Gray's second at bat, not just tonight, but of the spring. We'll take inside. It's a regional thing. They like them in Kansas and in Nebraska. That's pretty much it. Maybe a little bit of South Dakota. They're called Bierox in Kansas, though.
Is there any kind of chains? Can
Yeah.
you get a
Yeah.
drive-through?
Yeah, the Runza.
Where's
You
the
go to
cabbage
Runza.
burger?
R-U-N-Z-A.
Oh, okay, that's what they do. Oh.
The best. Reed Garrett, I'm sure if he ever had an opportunity to try one, would thoroughly enjoy cabbage burger. It's great, a wave and miss. That's strike 2. All right, I think since it's a place, and Beltre took these guys a place that you could eat in Texas as well. It's going to be of the Chili's, Applebee's,
No, really?
Roadhouse kind of ilk. Yeah. So is there?
Did you just put Applebee's in with Roadhouse?
I'm just saying, it's like some
Saltgrass.
sort of salt grass. Yeah, something like that. So do your little thing.
Well, it's
and see
unfortunate we
what's
can't
around
see
here.
Emily right now because what is a fun game to do, which you kind of just you go through that list like you and I did, and then just watch her facial expression. She probably would give it away, but we can't see her, so that's not going to work this evening.
Fastball around on the outside corner for a strike. 96 miles per hour from Garrett. His first strikeout this evening.
Good velocity here, popping the glove. Doesn't matter pitcher or not. Good pitch for Garrett, well located.
2 gone, turns the lineup over. So let's just go Longhorn Steakhouse. Can we throw that as a guess? That'll be my guess. My what? My
Sure.
third.
Guess number 6, Emily Jones.
I'm getting such joy from
Oh, good.
giving you guys the buzzer.
Okay. Do not delight in the failure of others.
4 more guesses to go.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
Since we only have 4 to go, can we confirm that it is indeed in Surprise, Arizona?
Yes.
It is in Surprise.
Oh, so they didn't go. Yeah, right. They didn't go to Scottsdale
I mean, I think
or
so.
Phoenix.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay. That's helpful.
Let me, excuse me, while Google.
This ball hit hard up the middle by Tachman. He's pretty good. He's going to go for 2. That one all the way to the fence, and Tachman will turn and try for 3. The relay throw is behind him, and an easy 2-out triple for the Rockies leadoff man.
This ball was hit pretty hard here, and you'll see the lefty getting after a fastball up over the middle of the plate. This ball was smoked. And a good spot, too. Long way to run for both Nomar Mazara and Delino DeShields. He does a nice job of getting into the relay man. And regardless of the good execution on the defensive part, nothing you can do to stop that triple.
Tachman's 4th triple of the spring. And here's Valaika, who's had some nice at-bats. Double, a single, a run scored so far tonight for Valaika.
Confirmation. The restaurant is in Surprise, Arizona.
Okay.
We know that it is some form of a chain. We should have
Oh.
done. Why don't we do this from the beginning?
Oh. Okay.
Do they have free breadsticks there? Anybody?
All you can eat. Bottomless breadsticks and salad. 2 and 1 on Valaika. What about like Payway? What do you think? Something like that. They've got a Payway down the street.
Are you serious with that get?
No.
it's not a guess.
We're
It's not
talking.
a
We're
guess.
just talking.
Oh, we didn't know
to
you were
each
still
other.
there. This
We
is
didn't know
it.
you were listening.
I'm
It's
listening
like
to
the
everything.
Family Feud when you get in the huddle with the family, you start throwing stuff around, but you don't actually throw out your answer just yet.
Richard Dawson has a time limit, guys.
Well, there's no clock in baseball. 2 and 2 on Valaika. So
Emily went pretty silent on the breadstick question.
right, you know what? And I
on
definitely
the
was getting a
table.
bad vibe on that Payway thing. So,
Yeah. Good
so
call.
you want to try that?
I think it's worth throwing out there.
All right, we'll go with Olive Garden, Emily.
Eh,
Hey.
so fun.
The chin music for Valaika at 96 miles per hour.
Oh, what about?
Yeah, give it a try. We're down at, with 3 guesses left?
We have 3 left. Without saying the name, do they serve a bloomin' onion there?
That's cheating. You have to make a guess, sir.
All right, mate.
That's a guess, and the answer is.
Golly.
I felt pretty good about that.
No more shrimps on that Barbie. Well, 2 outs here.
If I would have known it was going to be this much fun, I would have given you guys 20 guesses.
Well, we may need all 20. I can't. There's no way I would like to guess that, but I'm not going
No,
to.
you're not.
I'm like roast beef. Shredded.
We've got the meats.
I
Parra
guess.
takes it up and away for a ball. Parra strikeout, and he is flied out to left.
And it was Sunday, so we know we can eliminate
Oh yeah, no Chick-fil-A.
the chicken place.
Garrett's 1-0. Finds a corner. Nicely done. Garrett trying to move his way off the hook here in the 4th inning with Tachman at 3rd, Valaika at 1st, and the dangerous Parra at the plate.
Do they count the number of people in the business in the business name?
I don't even know what you're asking. Bouncer first base foul. No, it's not a burger joint.
It's not a burger joint.
I don't think so.
It's not Cinco Hombres.
No. Definitely not.
All right.
We're at 2 guesses, by the way?
3 left.
3 left. Okay.
Just got confirmation. It's actually 4.
Valaika draws a throw over at 3rd base. Garrett, last year at AA Frisco, 2-5, a 498 earned run average. He made 4 starts, also 40 appearances out of the bullpen for the Rough Riders. Very high, runner goes, and now Tachman down from third base, and he's in a pickle. Beltre running him to the plate, and Beltre got him!
Ooh, that was close.
And barely. They don't have replay during spring training. Beltre will quickly go into the dugout and call that one good. Well, the inning is done. Rockies had a shot, but Beltre, oh, the speed, he did it! Defensive play in that top of the 4th inning. Rockies, though, leading 5-0. How about this?
You see it here in a good fake. Good job drawing the runner off. And in these situations, Adrian Beltre, one fake here, thinking he could get the runner to stop, and he did. And at that point, he figured he was going to finish it himself, maybe a little bit closer than expected. But he certainly tagged out the runner in time. That little pause right there. I didn't think he was maybe going to have a little bit more time. And he thought. Joey Gallo also offering his 2 cents. It was really close, but a nice play by Adrian Beltre.
Well, he'll be due up second in the inning. Andrews, Beltre, Mazzara here in the 4th. Trying to get something going offensively against John Gray, who's been pretty sharp so far in his first 3 innings. Gray with 5 strikeouts through 3. And has allowed 2 Rangers hits. One of them to Elvis Andrews, who singled to center in the 1st inning.
Disagreeing with that call, but regardless whether it's spring training or regular season, you see Elvis kind of taking things in stride, as he always does.
0-2 on Elvis. We're talking about some of the promotions and fun nights coming up this season, early in the season. And you can bet that we'll be celebrating Elvis Andrews. He's got a bobblehead on that first week of April, April 7th. Game against the Blue Jays. That'll be Saturday, April 7th, the 7:05 game. First 15,000 fans at the Elvis Andrews bobblehead, courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Brooks's. TexasRangers.com or 972 Rangers to get your tickets to the ball game. Andrews down on strikes. That's 6 strikeouts now for Gray.
Looks good. The breaking ball looks good. I mentioned that curveball earlier. Wondering how much he would be featuring that this season. This is a good one with some depth below the zone. You see it right there. 12-6 action on that breaking ball as well from Gray to go along with a good fastball. And you're right, no walks tonight. Generating a lot of swings and misses.
Here's Beltre. And he lashes that one into left field, a base hit. 3rd hit of the night for the Rangers. First for Adrian.
Trying to go up and in on Adrian Beltre, and John Gray really didn't miss his spot very much. And even though they felt like that was the place to go, Adrian Beltre showing that he can still get to that up and in fastball. Turning on it.
Adrian on, and here is Nomar Mazzara. Mazzara struck out in the 2nd inning. But in the middle of that strikeout, he hit a ball about 500 feet and just missed keeping it fair. Yanked it down the right field line. He'll take that one in the dirt for a ball. Well, Beltre over there at first base. Wallet a little lighter after last night's big dinner. At where did they go again?
Where'd they go to dinner last night? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, this game sweeping the nation is the interest level via my text messages. There's some people that want on this. There's something about guessing something that you really are straight guessing. Like you can't look, you know, you can't, there's no facts. There's nothing to really, you know, to trace, to be able to put a real educated guess together. I mean, we got it now. We know it's a chain. You can go there in Texas. You can go there in Surprise, Arizona. So that helps limit it a little bit. But everybody wants a piece of this.
Just got it.
You did?
Yep.
Are you sure?
Just got
Remember,
it.
if you guess in Spanish, it doesn't count. Because I was thinking about Rojo Langasta. You know Rojo.
Oh, I don't think they're going to the Red Lobster.
You just said English.
No, but I was interpreting what you were saying. Not a guess.
Mm-hmm.
No, we weren't guessing. We were
No.
discussing. Unless we're guessing. Are we
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's
possible.
I mean, if you're not going to go to Chuck E. Cheese, why would you go to Red Lobster?
Well, for the all-you-can-eat shrimp.
Yeah, but there's no entertainment there afterwards.
Well, I think I just had an inspiration a moment ago. We'll discuss it. 3-1 to Mazzara. That's very high, ball 4. So he will take the walk, his third of the spring. Rangers have a couple of men on. While we continue to toil on this, let's send it back down to Emily Jones.
Yeah, I talked to Chu today before the game, just asked him how his spring was going, you know, where he was at mentally, physically. He said he feels fantastic. He said as far as adjustments in his game, he wanted to reduce that back leg, how low he got on his back leg, which is why he implemented a small leg kick to try to be more aggressive with his swing. He said he started that here in the spring. He feels like the results will come, but he wanted to try to keep that back left leg from being down so far, so he could be a little more aggressive in his approach. So that was the one tweak he wanted to make as far as mechanics were concerned. But he said just embracing the DH role, the routine that goes along with that. He feels like he's in a good mind frame headed into the season.
Yeah, we probably thought that he was going to do that a little bit more last year, but ended up playing the outfield a few more games, I think, than expected. And it's not that easy. It is not an easy adjustment. It may sound simple from the outside, but so many players will tell you the idea of staying in the flow of the game is just really important for them. What David Ortiz did throughout his career, Edgar Martinez, not that easy to do for everybody. Frank Thomas was a guy who could slide into that DH role and did it pretty seamlessly. But for some guys that get antsy, sitting around for a couple of innings waiting for an at-bat, it certainly takes some time to adjust to that DH role. Doesn't matter how good of a hitter you are. You completely flip the script and pretty much predominantly only DH. Can be a little bit of a challenge for some guys trying to figure out what they want to do in between. How much tee work should I really be doing in between at bats? How much video? You got all the time in the world. You got to use it wisely, but get comfortable in what you're doing in between at bats.
2-2 on Chu. Well, we've seen it with Albert Pujols. Mike Scioscia. I mean, Pujols is like, man, I need something to take my mind off my at-bats. Go out in the field and worry about that a little bit. Come up and hit with a kind of a clean mind. Check swing, roller down that third base side, foul, and Chu stays alive. So there's a little Italian food place down the road, by the way.
Is there one in Dallas too?
I mean, I think there's one in Dallas. I know there's several in Texas.
Okay.
Starts with a C.
That's a good place.
What do you think? It seems like that's kind of a sweet spot for this evening's outing.
To make a really good Marsala chicken.
You want to try it? What do you think?
I go for it.
All right, Emily, we're going with Carrabba's.
You don't have to say that with such pleasure. Like, you can just say, sorry, guys, that's wrong. I suppose. I mean, that is the most in-your-face buzzer from a human being that is possible.
And I'm so proud.
Yeah, I can tell.
Ooh, just missed a little high.
There's only 5 guesses left, is that correct?
I think we're down to 5 guesses here. We're also running out of restaurants in Surprise. Good run scoring opportunity here for the Rangers. First significant one they've had tonight, and Chu strikes out swinging. That's 7 punch outs now for Gray. Looks like he's ready for opening day.
He certainly does appear to be locked in. He's been hitting his spots for most of the night. Just the 1 walk so far, and we're back here. That's a pretty good pitch right there as far as how much plate it caught. Even Chu a little bit surprised that he swung and missed at that pitch.
Beltre at second, Mazzara at first with 2 away, and here is Rua, who has been a very good run producer this spring for the Rangers. His 12 RBIs, most on the team. His 3 home runs, tied with Destin Hood for most on the team. Rua, part of the left field platoon that we're all anticipating to begin the year. Rua and Drew Robinson will share duties out there. You see the home run leaders among Rangers. The 1-1. It is strike 2. Rua, of course, we saw last year the versatility to play on the infield as well. He could help you out at first base if needed, but the lion's share of his work is anticipated to come in left field. Gray picks up his 8th strikeout of the night, strikes out the side of the 4th inning. Rangers leave a pair. We go to the 5th inning tonight. It's 5-0 Colorado. Tonight, 5-0 Rockies here as we go to the top of the 5th inning. Now, speaking to the kids in youth baseball, the Texas Rangers very excited about a new initiative. They want to help renovate or refurbish youth baseball or softball complexes, provide new equipment with the Globe Life Texas Rangers Baseball and Softball Grant Program. Eligible organizations in Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arkansas, and Louisiana can apply at texasrangers.com/grants. These applications are due by June 30th. We certainly encourage you to get your application in as soon as possible. Rangers and Globe Life really looking forward to helping out. All right, so here we go to the 5th inning now. Reed Garrett, a nice job in the 4th inning, and Jake Diekman now takes over here in the 5th.
see the numbers there last season for Diekman. Of course, just 11 games pitched. Really made a nice recovery. The walks a bit higher than we were certainly used to seeing from him, but this is a different year now. And we talked to him a couple of games ago that we did on TV. I think it was the first one of spring we talked to him, and boy, did he sound excited about the full off season. Of course, he got married as well. It's funny, even when JD was talking about that, right? The kind of little things in life that are going on with guys, and how teams even pay close attention to understand the value in that as well. That's certainly a different change than years past. Life event was the way that JD described it, and certainly for Jake Diekman. He's had multiple life events over the past year, but he is healthy, feeling good, and the Rangers are thrilled to have him back full-time now in that bullpen.
Good right there with his first strikeout of the night.
Here it is, the breaking ball down and in after a couple of fastballs and down over the plate a little bit, but good pitch. Parr could not hold up. You'll see it here from the side.
So with one out, here is David Dahl, who doubled in a couple of runs his last time up. (16 RBIs now for Dahl, and a whole 0-2.
I can't remember the last time I had a lettuce wrap.
Dahl, the flare to center field. That one falls in, takes an aggressive turn at first. They'll throw in behind him, and he's able to get back there. But I had that feeling once he took that hard turn around first that the Rangers were going to let that go without challenging him a little bit.
Take a look at the pitch here, and fastball in, located exactly where Jake Diekman wanted it. Very similar to what we saw with Adrian Beltre, that hitters getting to those fastballs in, but also a really heads-up job here by the Rangers. And go ahead and take that chance in spring training, right? You got nothing to lose. You see a guy take a big turn around first. This is the time that you practice it. Never a bad idea to make aggressive mistakes in games that are just spring training games that don't matter. It's the time you practice it.
Well, McMahon's had a good night. Homered his last time up. One of the top prospects in the Rockies organization, and a guy who looks like he may be getting a taste of the big leagues this year. 23 years old. Bud Black will have some decisions to make on certain guys, how he wants to put together that lineup, maybe even defensively. What's he want to do at first base, as an example.
I mentioned that big year that McMahon had last year, the minor league level. Albuquerque, great place to hit, but he still hit 304 against lefties. So that is certainly an encouraging sign.
Well, run for Rua into foul ground. That one beyond his reach. Long strike makes it 1-2.
So they're thinking platoon with him, potentially with Ian Desmond, taking some of those at bats against left-handed pitching. As you see, Ryan Rua just missed that one. Good effort, but 391 versus right-handed hitters, or excuse me, right-handed pitchers last year, 304. But just one home run out of the 14 that he hit in AAA last year. Certainly a lot more power against right-handed pitching.
1-2 pitch, and Diekman misses a little bit low. Well, America's fastest going game show is kind of stalled here in the fifth inning. We're having a little trouble. A lot of feedback online from folks, and there's one particular restaurant that's getting a lot of mention. Ooh, he did not go. McMahon held off, and it's a full count.
Good pitch from Diekman right there. You see a lefty who is going to be susceptible. You get those power lefties, and Jake Diekman getting a little bit of a laugh out of that one, but this is exactly what he wanted to do. And a lot of good big league hitters have chased that slider from Jake Diekman before. Left on left out of the zone. Man dodged a bullet.
Another check swing, and that one just off the plate. McMahon A really good at bat to draw the walk.
Second is number 69, Brendan Rogers.
Two men on now for Rogers. Rogers had the base hit, scored the first run of the game in the second inning. Rockies lead 5-0. Diekman, third pitcher of the game for the Rangers, and he finds a strike zone there to make it 1-1.
Rogers is a guy that the Rockies are certainly excited about. The third overall pick in the 2015 draft. Came out of high school out of Florida. 21 years old now. Pretty good year last year overall. A couple of different stops for him. High A ball, double A. Hit a combined .336. Hit 18 home runs. Hit 19 in 2016. Guy that you could put defensively up the middle. He's played both shortstop and second base in the minor leagues. Predominantly has been a shortstop, though, so far with the Rockies in their minor league system.
Widely considered their top prospect. He and McMahon among the top 50 in the game, according to Major League Baseball. Rogers, top 15 prospect in all of baseball, according to MLB Pipeline. That's the thing. This is a Rockies team that seems to have found some arms who can handle the rigors of pitching at Coors Field and in the National League West. And then they've got all these great young players percolating up out of their minor league system. They look well situated in the National League West. You know, the Dodgers have won, what is it, 5, 6 in a row?
I believe it's 5.
So they've won 5 straight titles in the West. Giants are always a threat, but it does seem that the Rockies might be long term, and at this very moment anyway, positioned for the better extended run from this point forward. Fouled away by Rogers, stays 3-2.
They're definitely in a good spot, and the rotation is young. Just two 28-year-olds. John Gray's 26. And it looks like it'll be Freeland and Marquez, guys that are 24, 23. So their oldest starter was 28 years old. And they did a pretty good job last year as a group. And what did they do in the offseason? But they went in, basically bulked up their bullpen with veterans. They brought in Wade Davis. They brought in Brian Shaw. Did a nice job on that front. And so young rotation, veteran.
And a 6-4-3 double play behind Jake Diekman gets him out of any trouble. We're halfway there tonight. Rockies leading the Rangers 5-0. Most of the damage here so far tonight. Jake Diekman, nice job getting that double play to get out of the inning. And you were mentioning it earlier, CJ, everything he has been through to get back to this point, and he certainly has earned the respect of his teammates, including the team ace in Cole Hamels.
You know, Jake Diekman is probably by far one of the best athletes I've ever been around. And to really see what he's had to go through, you really have to have, you know, admiration for. He's one of the toughest individuals that I've come across, and to have the type of talent that he has, the mindset, there's not a lot of people like him, and that's why I've been very fortunate to play majority of my career with him. So it's been great to see. He's always great to be around. He's intense. He's got such desire. And that's something that obviously will help the bullpen, but it also does help the team in a whole, just because of his presence. Because we all know what he's had to do last year, and it's something where now you seeing him out there throwing out and working out. It's just very impressive, and that's just kind of gives you that extra jolt of energy and fire just from one guy to a whole team.
Good words from Cole Hamels on the Nebraskan. Jake Diekman, who's looked good tonight. Meanwhile, the Rangers go to work here in the 5th inning. Rougned Odor batting 8th tonight, leading things off.
Like what Cole said there about the presence that he has in that bullpen, in that clubhouse. It matters. It was missed last year, and the Rangers will have it back this year.
Odor flies out to left field, one away. Yeah, when he is in the clubhouse, he definitely, and it's not easy for pitchers, it wouldn't seem to me, to exert a lot of personality that way in a clubhouse, but Jake does it. I mean, he's definitely a leader in that group.
And on the mound has the presence too, right? Big guy, wide shoulders, 6'4", throwing hard. He brings some presence in between the lines, and then kind of think what Cole was alluding to in that dugout, in the clubhouse, in the bullpen, and that matters, and that affects other guys in a positive way, and they're just, again, so happy that he is back, that he is healthy. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch him this year.
John Gray goes after Centeno, runs it inside. 2-0 the count. Juan Centeno rolled out in the 3rd inning. He's 0 for 1 tonight. Right now, the kind of the leader among the backup candidates at catcher in this camp. One of the few places there are question marks on the defensive or offensive side. Chirinos will be the everyday catcher, the frontline catcher. Who will back him up? Well, Juan Centeno, one of a handful of candidates, and he's kind of emerged right now. This is a guy who would have the upper hand. Goes the other way with it, left side of the infield. Scooped up over there nicely, though, by Castro, who throws him out at first. 2 away. Brings up Delano to Shields.
It's one of those ground balls that technically goes down as a 5-3, but it was pretty much straightaway shortstop, but because of the shift that they had on Centeno, third baseman all the way shifted over. Even in spring training, not immune to the shifts.
No. Well, we see it just as much in spring training. And I'm sure there's even a little bit of experimenting that you do during spring training that way. I remember a couple years ago in Tempe, and the Angels had this incredible shift on Gallo, and I thought, well, how would they have any data on Gallo?
Well, it's amazing because they get it even, minor league level.
Sure do.
It's amazing how much data is out there now.
Shields 0 for 2. He has reached base safely in 13 of his last 14 games. Another good spring for him offensively. Shoots this one out towards center field, sinking out there. Indeed, off the glove of Dahl, and will roll all the way to the wall. With Delano's speed, who knows what could happen. He's heading for 3rd. Here comes the throw, and it's not in time. Dahl was actually in position there where it looked like he might well make that play. Instead, I think it got a piece of his glove.
We'll see here a little bit of a sinking line drive on a fastball that was up from John Gray. This ball came down maybe a little faster than Dahl expected it to. Yeah, he just flat out missed it. What was so fascinating about this, it's so fun to watch Delano to Shields run, but you see him right there. I mean, that's not even 100%. And even the way he came out of the box, he looked like it was going to be a line out. And the fact that he could just coast in with a stand-up dribble, the rest of us are huffing and puffing around at second base.
Gallo lifts this one a mile in the air on the left side of the infield, and handled over there by Castro. And that will end the inning. So DeShields left at 3rd. We'll go to the 6th inning tonight.
top of the 6th inning. It is a Taco Monday here at Surprise, Arizona. The Junior Rangers Club, presented by Smile Generation, is the official kids club for Rangers fans 13 and under. Join Junior Rangers. Members will receive exclusive Rangers gear, including a backpack, performance tee, and performance socks. Memberships are available for just $25 at texasrangers.com/Junior Rangers.
Yeah, that guy's in the spirit. Looks like he got a foul ball or something today, too.
Great opportunities for those here. Batting practice, even on the minor league side. Guys tossing them into the stands more than usual.
That's the best.
How about this? I had gone back to the airport, returned my rental car when we were here for the first trip. Get out early, and you know, they always have the garbage cans there. You want to throw some stuff out, right? So I was throwing some stuff I left in my rental car out. I look over, there's a full-size wiffle ball bat. Looked almost brand new, and a minor league baseball in pretty good shape sitting on the top of the garbage can.
Really?
Yeah.
Who does that?
I don't know, but that minor league baseball made it home with me. My little guy was really excited. He goes, well, you didn't have room for the bat. And I only had carry-on bat, so I couldn't take the wiffle ball bat. But I walked away with the minor league baseball. I can't leave him. He throws a really good baseball right in the garbage. I rescued that baseball. I will have a full life of, well, it lasts a couple weeks around the Nikowski house, but better than being in the garbage can.
Steve Delabar has come on to pitch, placing Jake Diekman. Big right-hander to the plate, and that is outside ball 4. So Walters walks to start the 6th inning. Delabar, fascinating guy. This is his 7th appearance this spring, and I'm sure some folks may have seen it, maybe even forgotten that they saw it years ago. And I want to say it was on HBO, a program on Real Sports they did on Steve Delabar because of this ridiculous surgery he had on his elbow. He was, you know, he'd played in the minor leagues for a handful of years in the Padres organization, and had a really bad elbow injury in 2009 as this one gets away. And a late start for second. And a great job by Centeno to gun down Walters. Thought he might have happened upon a window of opportunity, but it did not work out for Walters.
Watch Centeno here. I mean, he does a good job of getting down, keeping the ball in front of him, and scoots off to the side. You can't always control it, but makes the throw on the run. He did not have time to set his feet and make that throw, but it was on the money regardless. That is a fantastic throw.
Yeah, and the 1-strike pitch is fouled away by Castro. Pardon me, Jordan Patterson, the pinch hitter for Castro. So Patterson to the game now.
He made that look so easy. Juan Centeno right there. He did a good job getting down, blocking the ball. Everything was in the right position. But you know, we talk about that internal clock a lot, that everybody has. Infielders have it, outfielders, even pitchers. Anytime a ball is put in play, well, certainly for a catcher, the same applies. And he has that idea without even having to watch the play. A pretty good idea how much time he has to get that throw off. And he knew he could not set his feet and make a throw. It was going to be on the run or nothing. And he did. And he threw an absolute seed and a strike down to second base.
One of the reasons why you see a play like that and you realize why a guy like Centeno is kind of emerged as that guy who is a really viable backup option at catcher. That was tremendous. The 1-2 pitch from Delabar and just missed outside. So we're talking about Delabar though, in that injury in 2009 required like 7 screws into his elbow and a metal bar of some sort as well in there. It looked like the career was done. And he strikes out Patterson. They're 2 away. But then, so, you know, he's a substitute teacher, like a high school, and he puts together a little training program for some kids and build up their arm strength, and he finds that his got a little stronger. And like 2 years after the injury, tries out for the Mariners. I'm like, wait a minute, this guy's got something. And they bring him back, and he's made it all the way back to the big leagues. And really just a phenomenal comeback story for a guy. And now here he is in Rangers camp.
An all-star in 2013 at the age of 29 after all that.
He saw 94 miles per hour with that last one, and that was the thing. He had this surgery, went, kind of came up with this rehab program and arm strengthening program, and his velocity went through the roof.
Probably a little issue getting through TSA, but totally worth it.
Man.
It's funny how those stories that come up like that. Chris Martin, right, where you think, are you done playing catch? You're throwing kind of hard. I don't know, and the next thing you know, guys playing professionally again and making a difference. And that's why, it's interesting to see guys that maybe get released or miss time because of injury or get released because of an injury, and you kind of assume they're done. But it is pretty incredible, obviously, with the surgery and the amount of screws and everything else that they had put in his arm makes it even all the more fascinating. But just how many guys will miss time, take that little bit of time off, and all of a sudden come back almost unexpectedly, seeing spikes in velocity.
2-2 pitch and another swing and a miss, and another strikeout for Delabar. So a scoreless top of the 6th. Still 5-0 Rockies.
Trailing the Rockies here in the bottom of the 6th by a score of 5-0. And we heard John Daniels talk a little bit earlier in the telecast and the guys up in the booth about life events and how those can shape players' performances in the season, shape their off-season plans. And when you look at a guy like Robinson Chirinos and the other Venezuelan guys who are dealing with, the aftermath in their country or the current ongoing issues in their country, and it really has hit home for Robinson Chirinos as his sister will be applying for asylum in an interview process that will happen, as a matter of fact, on opening day. He has taken 10 of his family members out of the country of Venezuela because he felt that they were in harm's danger after an incident that happened in the off-season. And so he's been dealing with that. Will continue to deal with that as the season progresses. A fantastic article in the Dallas Morning News by Evan Grant today, really detailing the trials that the people in Venezuela are going through, hitting very close to home for Robinson Chirinos. So not just Robbie, but also Elvis Andrews, Rougned Odor, Martin Perez, guys dealing with their immediate and extended families, worried about their safety and well-being, especially with these guys speaking out so prominently about the goings-on in their home country. And so Robinson, like I said, a fantastic article by Evan Grant, if anybody has a chance to check it out, just about the very personal struggles that his family is going through as we speak.
Yeah, it was a fascinating article, and of course last year when Rougned Odor was signed to the extension, that was one of the first things that John Daniels talked about, was how Rugi was then able to bring his family here to the United States, get him out, get him back here stateside to safety, and it was an important thing to him, an important thing to the Rangers, I think, to allow him that comfort, that safety. And Robinson Chirinos going through what he's going through right now with his family and his sister. It was a fascinating article by Evan Grant. As Andrews sends one high in the air to right field. That one not going to carry though, and there is one away. The thing that jumped out at me from that article was Chirinos' commitment to continuing to speak out and fight for the people of his home country in Venezuela, and even with everything going on and the threats to his sister, a good piece away. I mean, these people went a long way to find her That's frightening, man. But he really feels strongly about it, and that's pretty amazing, pretty admirable.
Incredible courage, because you're right? I mean, as far as standing up for what you believe, what you know is right, but that when you do that, when you share your opinion, that it risks the safety of your family, if you really love the most. And you very easily could say, you know what, it's not my place, they're more important. And I do believe this, but I'm just not going to say much about it, just to make sure that they're going to be as safe as possible. And, I mean, admiration is not strong enough of a word to use for Robinson Chirinos and all the guys that have been involved in this. And then to go out and have to deal with the pressures of the job that they have. This public job that everybody gets to watch them do, that so many people count on them to do well. It just takes it to a whole nother level. We saw it with the guys in Puerto Rico last year, knowing a little bit of a different situation, but still guys that were dealing with really difficult circumstances at home, knowing that people were struggling. We live in a privileged country, and for most of us, we don't really have to deal with things to that degree while we still try to do our job to that level. And it's always something that I think is worth keeping in mind and remembering with these guys. When you're a professional athlete, you are open to criticism pretty consistently from your own fans, from opposing fans. And when you really kind of step back for a minute and look and think about what these guys go through off the field and how important and how stressful that can be, you may think twice about giving a guy a hard time for striking out or making an error.
Well, here with one out, Justin Jacobs, who came in defensively last inning for Beltre, gets his first at bat of the night. He swings and misses at strike 3. And John Gray, I hate to say this, I mean, his 9th strikeout. He seems more than prepared for the regular season, and I think it's time for him to, hit the showers.
Shut it down. Take it to the house. You got your 3 at-bats. We're all impressed.
At this point, we're just showing off.
Time to move on.
A very impressive performance from John Gray, and one of the great young pitching stars in the National League. It has been fun to watch him tonight. It's nice that it's a game that has less meaning than a regular season game, but you can see why Rockies fans are excited about their prospects, in particular seeing a guy like him go out there every 5th day.
This just in, photographic evidence of dinner.
Mazzara with a chopper second base. Rogers is there, and that'll take care of a 1-2-3 inning for John Gray. Oh, more of the guessing game when we come back. We're through 6 innings. Rockies up 5-0.
Trailing the Rockies as we welcome, flash that smile, the smile, Elvis Andrus to the broadcast. Elvie, such a whirlwind of a season last year. Within the last year, you've had a baby, gotten married, and you had probably the best season of your career. What are you going to do for an encore in 2018?
I'll probably have another baby. I don't think I can get married again. but for sure, trying to get a better season than last year. I think that's the main goal for me, and then especially as a team, just get back in the postseason and get to the World Series.
It seems like for you guys as baseball players, the ultimate goal is to be consistent, and it's the most difficult thing to achieve as well. For you to be able to have put together the season you did in the fashion that you did, how big was that for you?
It was huge. I think that that's something that I really work hard every day. Even in the off season, that's what I'm trying to do. Stay consistent on my work. Having a good work ethic, having the same plan all the time, and don't try to change, especially if I go through a bad slump or something. Just continue to do it, and then just trust myself that I'm gonna get out of there and get back on track.
Do you feel like you're taking a more vocal role? I know you're always vocal in the clubhouse, but with your teammates, as far as from a mentor perspective.
I think so, and I mean that's because I'm getting older here and I have more years. So I think the experience, helped me to feel more comfortable talking to them, and they come to me asking questions. So I think it's just a process as a baseball player. You're a rookie, and then you get a little older, and you're trying to always pass it on to the young guys. So that's what I feel right now. But at the same time, I don't like when people start calling me a veteran and all that, because I'm not a veteran yet.
When will you be one?
5 more years.
Oh, just 5 more. Okay. As far as goals that you set for yourself, numerical goals, do you set those every year? Do you share those? Will you share those with us?
I do, set goals. I want, I can. I will share whenever after I've done it. So, there's a few things I want to upgrade this year, what I did last year, and just be consistent. That's the main goal for me. Be consistent and do everything that I'm capable to help the team to win.
We all know Adrian's not getting any younger. We keep talking about it. He's tired of talking about it. Are you soaking in, though, every moment with him?
Oh, for sure. You have to. Be really blessed to play the last 7-8 years next to him. And, I learned so much from him. I'm still learning. He's, like a baseball Bible. Not only in the field, off the field also. So it's been really huge in my career, and always going to be in depth with him.
So we've been playing a game with the announcer. So Adrian took some guys, minor leaguers, out to dinner last night. We're not telling where they went, but then JD said that you and Robinson, did y'all take a group out as well?
We did the day before.
Okay, where did you guys go?
To my house.
Oh, you went. Oh, did you cook?
Well, I buy. We have a barbecue, so I bought everything. I bought the meat and.
Okay. Did you grill it?
No, my brother and Chirinos did it.
Okay. All right. Well, I like that. Very creative. Points for creativity. Elvis, thanks for being with us. We appreciate having you.
On top.
Guys, back up to you.
Nice job.
Oh, I had a question from the booth.
Oh, what was it? Hold on.
Does he know where Adrian had dinner last night?
No, he's not telling you. He's not telling you where Adrian took them. He's not. Feel free to go. No, he's not telling you.
I don't think he knows either.
Is there specialty dessert? Oh. Is their menu the size of an encyclopedia?
Queso. Delabar with a strikeout. 2 of them in the inning, and we stand at stretch 5-0 Rockies. Kowski School of Dance.
That guy's had a cabbage sandwich before,
Woo.
for sure.
Yep.
Dad, you're embarrassing.
Wow, that is strong. Chu leading things off here in the 7th inning. Shin-Soo Choo 1 for 2. How about John Gray going out in the 7th inning? A little shutout going. Whoa, look out. Low bridge for Chu.
Still only 81 pitches. John Gray threw 7 innings only 3 times last year. He's got 1 complete game under his belt in his career. So we'll watch this one more time, up and in. Of course, you remember Chu swinging a pitch earlier in the game against John Gray. Pitch that was in, so maybe just trying to get him a little bit uncomfortable off the plate. Going for the spring training complete game. I watched Pete Harnish do that once.
Really?
Complete game in spring training.
Well, you're old, though.
That's a good point. Absolute nonsense.
Good breaking
No
ball.
extra pitchers on the trip.
I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, nuts.
Has 9 strikeouts so far tonight. And is 2-2. A little tight. Full count.
Looks good, looks sharp. The fastball command has been good. The velocity has been good. Good life on the fastball.
Good slider. It all started with good hair. You pointed out earlier. The 3-2 pitch. And a bouncer right side. Rogers there from a knee. And kind of slings it over in anger to get that first out of the inning. Hey, Rangers baseball from spring training is always live with MLB at Bat. The app will keep you connected every day with live radio calls, video highlights, stats, breaking news, and frankly, a whole lot more. Download MLB at Bat now. It's your #1 Rangers app. Well, but black out there. And that will do it for John Gray. So just to see him get up for that 7th time. New pitcher coming on for the Rockies. They lead 5-0. Back with a new pitcher in a moment. Prize Stadium, 5-0 Rockies lead. Jake McGee has come on.
Left-hander with a big fastball, averaged 95 miles an hour last year, and he throws a lot of fastballs. You see a slider and a curveball occasionally, but it is a ton of those right there. Good velocity from Jake McGee.
Well, John Gray was outstanding for 6 1/3 shutout innings tonight for the Rockies. Rua takes a little tight. All right, so this is our last. This is it. This is our last chance.
One last guess.
And it's up to Emily. So one last guess each. Do you want it? You want to go first?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Cheesecake Factory for the win.
Okay, Cheesecake for the win.
Final answer.
And I'll take Golden Corral. Oh man.
Incorrect. Both
So
of you.
what do you
It's better
got,
be big.
Em?
I mean, you really built this up, so it better be good.
No,
Pressure's on you now. How's that feel?
It starts with a B.
Benihana's?
Bojangles.
Nope. No, BW.
Take your time. BW.
Buffalo
is not.
Wild Wings?
Yes.
BW. That's not how you spell Buffalo.
Well, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh,
Buffalo Wild Wings.
goodness.
Yeah, so Adrian was like, I couldn't believe it. You know, I tell him we can go anywhere. They're like, we want Buffalo Wild Wings because they wanted to eat like copious amounts of wings. And and then they only ordered wings. And he was like, this is not okay. So then he ordered a bunch of cheeseburgers, and apparently there was a wing eating contest with spices involved and maybe some incentives to eat spicy wings. And a good time was had by all at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Nice.
And you guys are
Sounds pretty
terrible,
good.
terrible guessers.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
listen, there's a ton of restaurants here
A ton.
in Arizona, and then we tried to, narrow it down to which ones would be in both Texas and in Surprise.
I'm thinking the basketball games too, Emily, right? I mean, Nomar's a big basketball guy. Maybe they want to see some of the games too as Rua strikes out.
Yeah. You guys failed. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
0 for 10.
That's
There is that.
Matthew Slabs, however, did not fail as he sent in the Buffalo Wild Wings guess via the interweb.
But thanks for playing.
So congratulations to him.
It was a fun game.
Yeah,
That was a fun game.
send your prize in the mail.
Too bad we blew 2 guesses on Chuck E. Cheese and In-N-Out Burger.
Well, if you think of the fact that they went to Buffalo Wild Wings, In-N-Out Burger is not so ridiculous.
Yes.
But could you not? I mean, you could see those guys totally playing skee ball for a while. Like that would be fun.
I could
beat
see
Adrian
that.
Beltre in skee ball.
Yeah. No. Outdoor 0 for 2. He is struck out and flied out. I like skee ball though. That is fun.
Super fun. Just to crush it over there at Chuck E. Cheese. I go backspin instead of rolling forward. More accurate.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, hand up instead of hand down. Palm down instead of palm up in skee ball. Absolutely. And it'll get you a little bit more launch angle when it hits the bump. It comes in much better chance at hitting the 500. Yeah.
I may have just changed my entire strategy.
I pictured you as the guy that would do that coin pushing thing. You know, you drop the coin in and tries to push other coins over the edge. And
I've tried it. I remember
Sucker
that.
bet. Don't do it. Skee ball's where it's at. Most tickets for your bucks.
2-1 pitch. And that one is fouled away. Nothing like the game where you drop the claw and the stuffed animals.
Yeah.
That is the worst.
Big scam. They butter those animals up so you can't grab them.
Well, Odor started the spring training. It was all about 1 pitch, 1 zone, and trying to be a little more disciplined, go deeper into counts, walk more. Drew 5 walks right out of the gate. Well, lately has been a little more aggressive with the bat. And the hits have been harder to come by. No home runs yet. 171 average coming into tonight. And McGee misses. It's a full count. McGee with that high set, face high, maybe Bill the cap high. And the next pitch lined into left field. A base hit for Odor. Keeps the inning going.
It's kind of a good matchup here for Rougned Odor. How about him right there trying to call timeout as he raised his left hand, get it back on the bat in time, and laces that ball into left field. Pretty impressive from Rougned Odor. And we take a look at the young guns. We talked about this in our open. 24 and 22 years old for Nomar Mazara. 3 huge pieces of this lineup, under 25 years old, and guys that expect to be together for a long time and doing big things in Texas Rangers uniform.
Ruggie on. Kurt Casale heading here for Centeno. Hits it hard. But right to the third baseman, Gibson, who goes a short way forcing out Odor, and the inning is done. So McGee keeps it scoreless as we head to the 8th. 5-0 Rockies.
Or 5-0, but we want to get you another look at this replay. Ruben Odor's base. Look at this right here. Left hand goes up. You're going to see it. Time, please. Time, please. No. All right, then I'll just lace this ball in the left field instead. Pretty impressive. And that's how it works. You cannot assume that you're going to get time. Tried to get it, hand right back on the bat. And Ruben Odor rewarded with a solid base hit to left field. Kind of reminiscent of Bo Jackson, right? Wasn't it Bo Jackson that was calling for time? Correct me if I'm wrong. And then hit a home run. You're looking at me blankly.
Sure.
You don't remember that?
No.
Or maybe I have it wrong. Maybe it wasn't Bo Jackson. We'll ask the Google machine, and here it is. The legendary timeout home run. Bo Jackson. Amazing. Asking for time. I mean, almost the same time. They look like a curveball from a lefty. He absolutely hammered it.
David Dahl, meanwhile, takes one a little high, 1-1. Brandon Mann, the new pitcher. In fact, an entirely new batter is. He works with Kurt Casale. You see his numbers from last season. And he gets Dahl to swing and miss. And strike 2.
Man, 33 years old. Started his career all the way back in 2002. A guy that's been getting after it as a journeyman, former 27th round pick back in 2002, but has not seen the big leagues.
He pitched in Japan for a couple of years. He's taken a complete year off on 2 different occasions. Did not pitch in 2007 or in 2013. And this is here. It's a full count to Dahl.
The A's last year, first year with the Texas Rangers. Mentioned those 2 seasons in Yokohama. Love the grind, man. These guys willing to do whatever it takes. That means pitching in Yokohama or for Fargo Moorhead like he did in 2015 independent ball.
Check swing. No, he doesn't matter. Got that one right in there for strike 3. And Dahl strikes out to start the 8th.
Good job here against a good left-handed hitter, and you see that breaking ball perfectly located on the outside corner. Dahl thought that thing was going to finish off the plate, but he realized it did not. Good job by Mann. Come in and strike out a good lefty We talked about David Dahl. He's an interesting guy. Missed pretty much all of 2017 after having a really nice rookie year in 16, and now putting the Rockies kind of in a tough spot. And he tries to make his way back into the lineup at the big league level.
Here is Garrett Hampson. Came in a couple of innings ago to play shortstop, his first at bat of the night. And he'll shoot it the other way, foul and out of play. Well, he looks a lot younger, right? I mean, he doesn't look like a 33-year-old, well-traveled veteran. 1 and 2.
It's a respectable fastball at 92 miles an hour, and we saw the good breaking ball, and you could certainly see where the potential could be as a lefty specialist.
Down low, 2 and 2 the count.
It's the kind of guys that are easy to root for, and he's been doing it since he's 18 years old. He is now 33.
Wide of third. Oh, nearly made the play down there. He did keep the beer intact while making that effort.
Always important.
Both guys will reset here. Hampson backs out for a moment. Ooh, fastball in there for strike 3 called, and back-to-back strikeouts. We'll start this 8th inning.
It's 4 straight for Rangers pitching. 6 now in the last 3 innings, and that is a well-located fastball. And the breaking ball sets that up. Now that fastball was at 89 miles an hour, but those earlier breaking balls are kind of pitching backwards is what sets up the fastball and helps that 89 look a little bit quicker than it was.
Now Tom Murphy. Murphy's numbers last year from the minor leagues. He played college baseball at the University of Buffalo. So he's been in good spirits this last week watching his alma mater's basketball teams perform well, both the men's and women's side. Takes a strike. 1-1 the count. He was a 3rd-round pick in 2012. Straight out of college. He's been making his rounds through the Rockies minor league system. Did get a call-up in 2015. Made his big league debut on September 12th against the Mariners in an interleague game. And he hits this ball hard into left field. That is a base hit. So Murphy comes on with 2 outs. Strikes for yet another hit. Well, Fox Sports Southwest wants you to show your school spirit at a Texas Rangers game this summer. Get discounted tickets for select games and a free Rangers cap in school-specific colors. Go to texasrangers.com/UDays for details. University Days back again in 2018. You see on the left of the screen there, TCU, Texas Tech, Baylor, A&M, the whole list is back once again this year. Man on base, and this one buried at the plate. Tony Walters today 1 for 2 with a walk. There's a pinch runner down at first base. That is Elliott Soto. A short day for Murphy. Two and 0 the count on Walters. Gets a hard ground ball to shortstop, and that will take care of the inning. Walters out easily, and we'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Rangers need to get something going offensively, down by 5. Staying up late.
Lasso.
Hey, remaining televised games here for the Rangers this spring. Tomorrow will be on the MLB Network. It will be the White Sox feed ostensibly. We are not doing the game.
Oh, it's a national crew down here for the spring training game?
You got to. Hey, by the way, Wednesday, looks like Darvish will have the start for the Cubs on Wednesday, so that'll be kind of fun. Back on TXA 21 on Thursday. Matt Moore will have the ball for the Rangers on Wednesday. And then Friday on the Plus against the Padres. And then those games next week at home will be on Fox Sports Southwest on Monday night. Tuesday, a day game will not be televised. And then it's off to the races Thursday night. Opening Thursday afternoon is opening day.
Is the suggestion box open by any chance?
Yeah, go ahead. You got something?
Yeah. I don't like WEDS as a abbreviation for Wednesday.
Just like WED?
Yeah. Just my 2 cents for
Thur or Thurs?
I prefer, so with the weirdness of my brain, whatever we do, or if I'm doing something, make my own little calendar, the same amount of letters for all days. So if we're going to do 3 letters, then it's just THU. We don't have to say it. We just know what it is. Yeah. It doesn't sound good if you read it.
Mon. Two.
Yeah. Sounds way worse when you say it out loud, for sure.
Shields at the plate, 1-1, and bounces it slowly foul, third base side. Wade Davis, interesting addition for the Rockies.
To say the least, and I think the idea in a spring training, and we were talking earlier to John Daniels about getting your guys in there early to face big league hitters, but then the other side of it, and Wade Davis is going to get that opportunity with Delino DeShields and Joey Gallo still in the game. But the other part of it too is you want your guys getting comfortable and getting used to what's really going to happen, which is pitching late in the game. So in the case of Wade Davis, you want to get him out there now, let him throw the 8th inning, sit around, kind of go through your regular in-season routine as we get closer and closer to opening day, just 10 days away now. What a terrific signing this was. Highest AAV that we've ever seen for a reliever as far as the contract. The AAV, of course, the average annual value on the dollars. We had talked about how good this bullpen has become, and they're going to make you take them seriously in that really competitive National League West.
Shields hits this one out toward right field. Handled by the center fielder. Tapia moved over from right away. Here comes Joey Gallo. Now, didn't get a chance to see a whole lot of the Shields Gallo advantage up at the top of the order tonight. The idea being that when Shields gets on, that will change the way defenses can set up against Gallo, and or open up running opportunities for Delino. You can see the shift employed here by the Rockies, and that's what you would expect. But if Delino's on first base, or for that matter second base, it certainly mitigates, I guess, the severity of the shift they would be likely to put on against Gallo.
I think it's an excellent point and really smart on the Rangers' part. We know Joey Gallo didn't have a ton of singles in his game, right? It was about all about the slugging and the power, and part of the reason that he was losing some of those hits, like so many pull power hitters have over recent years, is because of the extreme shift. So if you force a team in a good amount of his at bats to make a decision on how they're going to handle it based on the fact that Delino DeShields is on first base, well, that changes things pretty dramatically for Joey Gallo.
Breaking ball dropped in there for strike 3 to Gallo, 2 away. So Wade Davis looks good. The other thing about Davis that's interesting, of course, is there's a free agent out on the market right now who many teams you ostensibly would love to have. Ryan Doro, now the batter for the Rangers here. His first at bat of the night. And in a way, Davis ending up with the Rockies because Greg Holland waited things out a little bit.
It's getting pretty fascinating, to be honest with you, that we're this late, 10 days away from opening day, and Greg Holland healthy and coming off a good year, does not have a job, as does Alex Cobb not have a job. Two very good big leaguers. We've talked about that offseason a lot so far this spring. But the rumor was that he was offered the contract that was similar to what Wade Davis took, and he turned it down, and that money just isn't there right now. It is just not available at that level. And so Greg Holland's going to have a difficult decision to make here, 32 years old with really good stuff and a good career history. Of course, he missed all 2016, but bounced back pretty nicely last year. He's an all-star, a strikeout rate of 11 strikeouts per 9. That is an arm you can use in any bullpen. I don't care how deep you are. Things are getting very late.
2-2 to Doro, and that one looked pretty good. Davis was more or less done with the inning, but he's going to have to throw at least one more pitch.
But this at bat, so Ryan Doro, 22 years old, 30th round pick in last year's draft. Played in the Sally League, which is A ball, in the Arizona League for rookie ball, and then you get Wade Davis here at a big spot.
Well, Davis strikes him out looking, a 1-2-3, bottom of the 8th. We go to the 9th inning. Rockies lead by 5. Still a chance for some autographs here tonight. Spring training, guys are usually pretty accommodating.
Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, a year ago, 2017, most valuable players. Of course, Jose Altuve had the monster season. That big batting average, 4th straight year in which he had 200 hits. Carlos Stanton, 59 home runs. We were wondering about 60, 61, 62. Where would the conversation go? Well, he never got all the way there, but he certainly had a monster season. Of course, now a member of the New York Yankees. It looks like him and Aaron Judge will be batting back-to-back. That'll be fun for opposing pitchers coming into town. Then, of course, also Jose Altuve rewarded with a contract extension. The Houston Astros had 2 more years of control. It would, I would say, probably the greatest bargain in sports. Set to make $6 million this year, $6.5 million next year. They bumped it up a little bit. Over $150 million to have an additional 5 years of control. Jose Altuve, certainly well deserved.
A new pitcher on here for the Rangers. Kevin Jepsen has been nothing short of spectacular this spring. His 8th appearance, a 1.23 earned run average.
He's done a nice job making a good impression. Don't know if there's necessarily room to break camp when you come into this situation. It becomes so important to have that strong spring. And there's times where you get in that spot as a veteran guy and you're trying to find yourself a team in which you think there may be opportunity. Kevin Jepsen's been around for a while. Did not pitch in the big leagues last year, 33-year-old. He's certainly done some good things over the course of his career. 448 games, you see it there. The 3 different big league teams that he's played for. 8.2 strikeouts per 9 over the course of that career. He was a closer at times. 27 saves. And even 400 innings pitched on the nose.
He's emerged as a guy here late in camp who there haven't been a whole lot of conversation about him, but there's still this mystery about who might close games once we get to the regular season. Some experience having done that. He's pitched quite well this spring and pumps in that one at a crisp 93 miles per hour for a strikeout to start the 9th.
You mentioned a good velocity. We'll see it here. Pretty good location. We're trying to go down and away, but nevertheless on the corner. A bit more middle, but good pitch. Certainly a tough one to hit.
So Patterson, a strikeout victim. Now Sam Hilliard, left-handed hitter. 1 away, 9th inning. Jepsen, the 6th pitcher of the night for the Rangers.
Rangers relievers have done a really nice job. All 5 runs came off of the starter Sampson. But since then, 9 strikeouts for Rangers pitchers. No runs allowed. Something John Daniels was talking about, right? That was an issue last year for the Rangers as far as the walk rates, both in the bullpen and in the starting rotation. They've been very pleased with what Doug Brocail and Dan Worthen have done, the new assistant pitching coach. Broke. Is the beard coming back? It's creeping back in.
That looks like it, yeah. 2-1 on Hilliard. Yeah, a lot of the arms at camp have performed really well, and there are some guys who, I don't know, this would be a very tough decision, and you have that issue of guys who just don't have options. How are you going to maneuver them around as a high fly ball out to left field? Handled for the 2nd out of the inning. There's Dan Worthen.
Former pitching coach of Doug Brocail. And he's not the one in the front with the helmet on. Really good pitching coach. I really did enjoy my time with Dan Worthen, one of the favorites that I've had over the course of my career. You see what he's done. Playing career, 4 seasons with the Expos, Phillies, Astros, and then as a pitching coach. Decade in New York with the Mets with some really good arms. Started out with the Mariners, the Padres. The Tigers 1999 team he took over later in the year. Both Doug and I were on that team. 99 Tigers reunion.
Our ground ball up the middle, and that one is through. So a base hit for Tapia. Rockies keep things going here in the 9th inning. Leading 5-0.
It's a fastball, located away. Good approach by Tapia. That's not an easy pitch. I mentioned earlier we saw a strikeout on that same exact pitch. Stay up the middle, don't get too big. How tall is he?
The Tapia?
Yeah.
He's long. Here's Derek Gibson. And he lifts it high in the air out to right field. Mazzara tracks it down. And it ends the inning, and so now the last chance for this Rangers offense to try and score a run in this thing, down 5-0. In this 9th inning. Well, last year we looked at the MVPs. How about the Cy Young Award winners last year? Corey Kluber with the 18 wins and 225 earned run average. Max Scherzer hit a nice season, but Austin Bivens-Dirk stuck it to him.
That's right.
That was the best.
One of the most fun games we got to call last year.
That was so fun.
And the way it started out, it was home run, base hit.
It was like yeah, home run walk, I think, something like that.
Yeah, we're like, ooh, it might not be Austin's day. And then
19 batters later, nobody's reached.
He just rolled, and Max Scherzer stood there stunned. That was certainly one of the fun ones in 2017. Scherzer was named, not surprisingly, opening day starter for the Nationals.
Yeah,
Not on the schedule this year.
He managed to bounce back.
Yeah.
To his credit. Brooks Pounders.
Top 5 greatest names in the game.
He's definitely right there among them. Yep. He's there with Jet Bandy.
You can't be a little guy with that name.
He's 2-0. A little bit high. 3 balls and no strikes. Jacobs got his first at bat of the 6th inning. Struck out against John Gray. No shame in that. And there's a strike, 3-0. Jacobs got a good rip at that one, and then a slip out there in center field by Tapia. And Jacobs to second base, and he'll be happy with the leadoff double. Tapia just blew a tire there.
You'll see him slip, and this ball was well struck to center field. We talk about a lot, those hard line drives, sometimes the toughest ones to read. Nice swing right there, good balance. That's Tapia right here as he starts to kind of read it, and then a little sniper got him, and it was too late. Let's talk about how tall he looked. He's only 6'2". But the hat
Well,
that's the trick, right?
Yeah, well, it's. I just think it's the build too. He's so skinny. He looks really tall.
It's a wonder that hat stays on. How high it's sitting. Good stiff breeze.
Well
Knock
balanced.
that right off.
How do you do that? Mazara's been on tonight. Just missed a massive home run, hitting one foul earlier in the game, and pounds this one of the dirt foul for strike 2. We're back in the 5th inning. Delano DeShields had a triple. The double just a moment ago by Jacobs gives the Rangers a couple of extra base hits tonight. Tapia was very deep. Comes on and able to get to that one in center field. And that is out number 1. So the Rangers now extra base hits, multiple extra base hits in 25 straight games this spring. Last year, 100 or more RBIs for Nomar Mazara. And you talk about guys 22 or younger to accomplish that in recent history. Trout, Francoeur, Zimmerman, Miguel Cabrera with a great old school logo there. David Wright. It's good company.
Really impressive group, and you think about the fact that it's only happened now twice in the last 11, 12 seasons that Nomar Mazara was among that group. You know, when people talk about the RBI and say that it's not as valued as much as it used to be, and that is true to some degree, but it still matters. It's still an indicator of a guy coming up and taking advantage of opportunities, driving runs in, and I mean, nobody better at it than probably Albert Pujols as far as the approach and the at-bats that he takes, and it does matter. It's looked at a little bit differently, but it absolutely still matters. And it's impressive what Nomar did, especially you start going through that list of guys and how it just hasn't happened very often at age 22 or younger. Because there's something to be said for that approach and understanding situations and not getting too big with your swing, or knowing when the infield's back and a ground ball will do the trick, and those kinds of things that Nomar has done so well. He sprays the field well, of course, and rarely will you see an RBI guy that doesn't use the entire field very well.
Rua lines this one into left field, and that's good enough to get a run home, and so the Rangers will not be shut out. RBI single by Ryan Rua. It's Jacobs to the plate, 5-1 in this 9th inning.
Good job here by Rua. And maybe a little cutter that hung up there a little bit, but nice swing. So he comes through. As much as we talk about, it's so interesting, fly ball revolution, and everyone's getting the ball in the air. If you actually watch that swing, it was a really nice shot from the side. He comes through even and almost even down a little bit, right? Joey Gallo was talking about that with MLB Network, with some really fascinating stuff where even, I mean, he had some as high as anybody, and as far as anybody, he talks about trying to swing down through the ball, cut the ball in half, and get that backspin to get the ball to carry. And you saw that swing from Ryan Rua, very similar in that regard. I think some people make the mistake of thinking, well, getting the ball in the air, people are thinking there's more value in that, and certainly there's a case to be made. It doesn't mean you're swinging straight up and just trying to pop the ball in the air. There's actually an art to it, coming through the ball, cutting through the ball, and not in your swing not getting too big.
Door to hole 0-2. Ruge had a base hit his last time up. 1 for 3 tonight. Rangers down to their final out, trailing 5-1. It's Pounders to the plate. That one a little bit high. You know, we were talking about Mazara and the season he had last year, and the fact that he is so young. And then this offseason was Bill James, who projected him as one of the top 5 MVP candidates for this year. That started a lot of conversation about what kind of year Mazara could have, as Odor couldn't quite beat out that little roller over to the first base side. And that does it tonight. 5-1. Rockies take this one this evening. So it won't count. No one will remember it 3 days from now, but this one is done. Rockies win it by 4. For CJ Nitkowski and Emily Jones, I'm Dave Raymond. Rangers spring training baseball Baseball's on Fox Sports Southwest Wednesday at 3 o'clock Central against the Chicago Cubs. Please join us for that. This has been a presentation of Fox Sports. Once again, our final score is the Rockies over the Rangers 5-1.